Off a day and happy holidays to all of you. Thanks for joining us today on this podcast. Today, we'd like to thank you for joining us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and our newest addition, Pandora. We're so excited that Pandora has jumped into the KUAM podcast. I don't know anybody that doesn't listen to Pandora. So if you're listening to us on Pandora, thank you so much for joining us today. We have an interesting topic, and it came about because it is the holidays. And one of the things that I think is consistent across the board is when you say holidays, you also say the word stress. And so today's topic is just to talk about stress. And I have two of the most beautiful women here on Guam to join us to talk about stress. So to my left is Jacqueline Hadda.
Good morning. Good morning.
She is from Hawaii, and she's going to go over some of the stress and some of her interventions and what she does when she feels a little bit stressed out in her personal life. And then, of course, we have the beautiful Clare Calvo.
Thanks for having me back again.
And we all know Clare has stress because she does a gazillion things. Like, you're never sitting down, ever. You're always go.
Let's just start because we're women. Let's
right.
just start with that.
Right. Very good point. We're women, and so it's just natural that we're all going to be stressed out. So I'm going to give some statistics real quick, just so everybody kind of, we're all on the same wavelength. So I did some research. And according to the American Institute of Stress, who even knew that this institute existed, right?
Right.
I'm just like doing my search on social media, and I'm like, there's an Institute of Stress? Really? Who works for this company? Okay. Anyways, the top 3 stresses are what? What can you guys say?
Work.
Work is one of the top 3. What's another one?
Parenting.
Nope, not parenting.
Relationships.
Nope, not parent relationships. Money.
Does that fall into
That it doesn't even count. It doesn't count for Claire. Claire doesn't
Are
have
you
any
kidding
money
me? That's my
issues.
biggest stress right now.
Right.
I think that's a huge
Claire Calvo
result.
has no money issues. So this
trust me.
This
I do. Trust.
And
end that.
right. Okay.
Now.
All right. We'll pretend to believe her. Wink, wink. All right. And the third category, which is the top 3, is health. Right?
Of course.
So health, money, and work are the top 3 according to the American Institute of Stress. And so we're going to just kind of go over just the general types of stress, and then you guys tell us what is your take on it. So let's do the very first one, which is holiday stress.
Oh my God. Was that added? Was that part of the top 3?
Oh yeah, let's just add it.
Okay.
You want to add it?
Because it falls into all of that, right?
Right.
Work,
Well, I'm
money.
feeling it now because what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? Are you going to cook, Mom? Really?
Oh my God.
Jax.
I mean, holiday stress is when it's Thanksgiving, you're walking in the store, and you see Christmas stuff going on.
Right.
So, and then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to get to the present, and am I cooking? How many people? The ingredients, and whatever not, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was at Home Depot. The whole Home Depot is nothing but Christmas decoration.
It's been like
It
that.
took all my power to not buy everything in that whole section. What kind of holiday stress do you go through?
Well, I come from a very large family. And I think, and there's more females than males. So you have a lot of strong personalities. And coming together, planning things is, that in itself is kind of like, okay, who's in charge of this, who's in charge of that. But I think also for holidays, it's great to come from a large family and all, having those get-togethers. But it's stressful. It's stressful when, people are coming from out of town and having more different personalities together.
Amen.
And just, what I mean?
Hallelujah,
I love
right?
family, but you have to admit, those closest to us are those that we're most challenged with a lot of times.
Yes.
So I think just having a lot of the gatherings and that because we're a huge family, it's like, trust me, money is an issue. And to buy to buy for all, now we have my siblings and then their spouses and then their kids, and now we have like, of course, mom and dad, but it's like generational. It's like, okay, e-cards. But and that's when you kind of got to go to the root of what this is all about, and it's about the thought that counts, right? So
Yes.
a lot of times it's like, I think as far as stress goes, we put it upon ourselves as well,
Absolutely.
thinking of what holidays mean for us.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right.
So one of the things I decided to do, which was, so I have 2 kids, and so one of the things I decided to do was put up my Christmas decorations this past weekend. And so daughter number 1, against it. Why we gotta do all this work? It's not even Thanksgiving. Second daughter, yay, mommy, let's put up the decorations. So I did some research, and one of the things that I discovered, which was interesting, was actually putting up Christmas decorations actually de-stresses you. Would you think? And I'm not gonna lie, we started laughing and joking and having fun because one daughter, she was in charge of lights, and like the whole middle section had no lights. So when we turned it on, it was so hilarious and funny because there was none. And so the research said the reason why some people who put up their Christmas decorations early de-stress is because it brings back your positive childhood memories.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
That makes sense. Or the gathering of the family, getting together, getting the decorations, putting it up into the tree and everything. It's just a unit.
You know what? And that's what it was. The
Positive.
kids all actually wrestled me to the floor because I got a little OCD because there was a little too much tinsel on the left side, not enough lights in the middle, and why do I have 3 of the same decorations right here? So they actually wrestled me and told me you're not, and it was so much fun this weekend that I actually do honestly feel like I de-stressed. How about you guys? How do you guys feel about decorations?
What you said totally makes sense. Because I think a lot of times we put the pressure on ourselves, right?
Yes.
And the fact, because I could be a control freak, and I
Me too.
notice that if I just surrender the control, and I'm like, you know what, it's okay if it doesn't look perfect, it's imbalanced or whatnot, because at the end of the day, I'd rather be happy than right. I know that's so cliche, but truly, it's like, am I going to stress over the little stuff? There's like a lot of big stuff to really like focus on. So,
and that's exactly
that makes sense.
That's exactly how I felt. So our next topic, media overload. Is this podcast stressing you out today? It might be stressing out my 2 girls, but
I was stressed out because Claire was
what?
going to be here.
Claire's
Like,
gonna
oh my
be
God,
here, right?
Claire.
Are you kidding me?
I know, right? So,
I was.
what stresses you out with media overload? We have social networking, we have radio, we have TV, we have. Does social media stress you guys out?
Mm-hmm.
Be for real. What part of
my
social
kids.
media stresses you
Or
out?
for the kids.
For the kids, it's all about being perfect.
That's a good point.
I think social media has a lot of impact on the millennials, right? That's millennials. And I
yes.
think that alone gives them a whole lot of stress to be a certain way, right?
That's absolutely
And
true.
I think that's a whole lot for any teenager or child. I think so to keep up with the Joneses, or to fit in, or to look a certain way.
And so how do you deal with it with your kids? So parenting is also another stress, right, you guys? Is your child on social media or not
so
yet?
my son's 7. So,
I know, so
he likes
but I'm not.
the
There are
youth.
7-year-olds that are on social media.
There are.
I mean, of course, he'll look through mine and he wants to, have Instagram. I'm like, whoa. He does this thing called TikTok, which I still think is a little too mature for him.
Yes.
And there's
TikTok
so many
is
different
hilarious.
things.
Right.
Yeah, and he loves it, but sometimes it's a little borderline,
Yes.
So, I mean, so long as I monitor him,
Exactly.
and I'm guilty.
How do you monitor him?
I usually
It's
put a
so
timer
hard to
on.
monitor them.
If I put an alarm,
Yeah.
he knows when he hears it, it's like, okay, you can't argue with that. It's like, I'm not, they'll try to.
But you're not monitoring content. You don't know where
right
he's going.
next to me, so a lot of times if I hear a bad word, I'm like, hey, what are you listening to? And then he'll have to switch it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But like what you were saying, as far as like the social pressure, and he's 7, but already I'm seeing, oh, look, everybody has this, I want to have that, and
Right.
that, not just because I'm just thinking also for his self-worth. So we have the discussion like, that this isn't going to make you more of who you are. So I mean, trying for a 7-year-old to get into that kind of deep discussion is not, I'm hoping it sinks in, but I could definitely see as he gets older, like you were saying with your kids, how that could be more detrimental.
So what do you do, Jax? What do you
What
do
did I do?
to decrease your
communicate
parenting stress
a
about
lot.
social?
Well, I communicate a lot with my boys, and I tell them what's going on with. You need the social events, you need the current events, not just social media. They need balance. you know, and that's where chores come in.
Yeah, right.
That's where what?
Chores come in,
yeah.
you know. And I just tell them, you know, you need to start from the foundation of home, and this is where we begin.
Yeah.
And they're receptive to that. I have teenagers.
Whether they
She has
are or
teenagers
not.
and I have teenagers, and one is receptive, and the second one, I don't think so.
But they hear you. You
What
know,
if there
whether
was a
they're
second
receptive
child?
or not.
I don't know if they're receptive.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You just need to keep talking, and just whether they're receptive or not,
Yeah.
they need to hear what we're saying,
Mhm.
and it's gonna stand whether we. It's not gonna. Well, I might go in one ear and out the other, but still, it's gonna sink in.
But
It
the
will.
one social media, I can't get them to listen to is mine. I have to pay
Right.
them.
Really?
They'll be like, I'll be like, did you guys listen to my podcast last week? And they'll be like, Mom, I really need $20. If you give me $20, I promise I'll listen to your. I'm like, I gotta pay you to listen to my podcast. So if I was on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, they'd be like, Mom, can we borrow $20? Borrow means they'll never ever pay me back, right?
But can I just add on that? Not
Yeah,
just social,
absolutely,
not
absolutely.
just social media, but I think overall.
Yeah.
And we're talking about stress. We've gotten so accustomed to multitasking, but now it's to the point where we're constantly engaged in something.
I know.
And for me, I feel
I know.
for me
I do agree with
to
you.
monitor my stress, I have to wake up first thing in the morning, because usually, I would want to grab my phone or whatnot, but I try to at least take 30, 45 minutes to just sit. And whatever, when I say meditate, I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, what kind of cult, but it's not even about that. Whether you're just focusing on your breath or praying and, whatever it is, but just taking some time to just pause and not have any kind of stimulation without just focusing on stillness or your breath. That helps me tremendously. And having a 7-year-old, I have to do this before he wakes up, but for him, what I try to do is, because with food, he eats junk food, so I try to balance it out and give him a green drink. With social media, getting online, he loves to be always on his iPad, so I try to balance that by taking him outside and getting fresh air and exercising and whatnot. So while I don't think we can completely cut it out, we can at least balance it with good stuff.
So that's good. You brought up something that you personally do to de-stress, which is meditate. Jax, what do you exercise?
Totally. I need to do that every day just to de-stress. Run.
And both of them is based on research, very good interventions to deal with stress. Other interventions are to smile more. It really works. I'm not going to lie. There are people that throughout your whole day, you'll be in the supermarket or you'll just be walking around and they looked upset, they looked pissed, and if you just smile at them and say hi, and they're almost forced to smile back at you, and that's actually a form of de-stressing also.
Exactly.
Laughing more. Do you guys believe in that?
Oh, totally. Totally.
Just laughing I remember when I was in college, because that was my most stressful. Nursing school kicked my butt, right? And so a lot of times when I felt super overstressed, because I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and we had a comedy club there. And so I would say, I think I just want to go to the comedy club and there were nobody comedians who later in life become famous, right? You know how the comedy club works. Yeah. It's all these nobody comedians that haven't hit it yet for the big time. But they hopefully, I don't know what the percentage is, maybe 50% of them will make it. I know Richard Pryor started in comedy clubs. Seinfeld started in comedy clubs. So all these big comedians started, Eddie Murphy started in, and then hopefully they hit it big. So for me, a lot of times when I felt super stressed, I would say, I'm just going to go buy a ticket to the comedy club just so I can laugh for no stupid reason.
Or even just spend time with your friends and just have
drinks
and
right?
To say that or not.
Yes.
Or some cocktails and just cousins in Hawaii. It was all about my cousins, Give them a call and say, hey, I need to de-stress. Let's go and have a few and sit and talk and catch up, and it's all about
I'm not going to touch this one, but I'll let these two ladies touch it. What about love making? Does love
Oh, de-stress.
See?
Right. Hello.
Does lovemaking de-stress? It depends if you pay for it, right? Oh, I'm just kidding. No,
but that's scientifically,
yes.
physiologically proven, yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Totally.
So, lovemaking is another one also that de-stresses you. How about CBD, marijuana?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. All the research shows that it does.
Yes,
and I know everyone's wants to base things on
it's the hot topic, right? Mm-hmm. And Guam, we just passed it, but dang, we can't get over the regulations yet, right? Such a difficult process to get over the regulations, and yeah, I agree. So CBD, marijuana, those also scientifically actually help to de-stress you. But the research does say, and so I do caution everybody, it's my little nursing hat that comes on. There's no research on the medicinal or the CBD positive or negative effects on pregnant women and on children. And so those are the two that I as a nurse just warn, like if you're pregnant or you have a child, because who wants to be the first one to say, here, let your child smoke this marijuana and we'll see, and then we'll test some studies.
Well, that's if it's
see.
CBD opposed to just straight marijuana, right?
Right, correct.
So CBD would.
Well, neither research studies, from my understanding, the latest I read, has been done on children or pregnant women. There's never a pregnant woman that says, yeah, I'll volunteer, because she doesn't want to chance her fetus.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's never a parent that says, okay, I'll sign all the consent, so if my child grows a third eye or whatever, I can't sue you, right? So it's just reality. Parents don't like vaping. Initially, when vaping came out, they wanted to test it on teenagers, but they couldn't find any parents to say, will you put your child through this clinical study to see that vaping doesn't, because it was the vaping companies that wanted to prove that it doesn't affect your high school child, right? And so that's one of them. So yes, for an adult, right?
Yeah. Right.
Research does show that marijuana and CBD does de-stress you. And then we talked about meditation, prayer, yoga. What other exercise?
What
other
we both
things?
spoke about, or actually all three of us talked, all the things that we spoke about in common about de-stressing, whether it's lovemaking or exercise or yoga or deep breathing, what they have found is that when you take deep breaths, like your body, you're actually physiologically de-stressing your body because of your the exchange. I mean, you're releasing a lot more of the carbon dioxide and alkalinizing the body with more oxygen. So really doing all of those things just naturally de-stresses the body in itself. So if you think about it, if you work out every day, you do deep breathing and meditation every day, and make love every day, you will be that much more less stressed.
Superhuman. But then again, that takes a lot of time out to think and say, put some time on the side, let's meditate.
Right.
Let's take some deep breath. Right. You know, so you need to come to a stop and say, let's, like you say, put all social media away. Let's just put everything away for 35 minutes and let's just meditate. So it's like everything. You need to catch yourself, right? And say, okay, let's do this and really concentrate on what we're doing.
And so this concept, ladies and gentlemen, is known as stop and smell the roses.
Exactly.
And that is one of the interventions. Just stop, smell the roses, or take a deep breath, or disconnect from social media, or whatever you got to do, but just stop and smell the roses. That's what that concept. So some of the signs and symptoms that stress causes. What does stress do to your body?
Well, I find that if I'm stressed, I eat more. So then basically I end up gaining weight if I, if I'm that stressed out, I'll turn to food, emotional eating.
Yes, yeah.
And it's what's interesting is it's not just emotional eating, but what happens in your body with your hormones. You know what I mean, with your hypothalamus, and like that being the connector of your nervous system and your adrenal. I mean, your adrenals, your endocrine system. Yep. So something actually chemically is happening in your body when you're stressed out that holds on to the fat in the fat cells. So all of those things are so incredible to just think about.
I totally agree. Mine's GI problems. Stomach ache,
am I.
My stomach's on fire. I don't feel good. I'm crunched up in fetal position. I don't feel good. And that's how I truly know I've hit my stress when some people will get headaches, right? Their blood pressure goes up. mine always, my telltale, as soon as my stomach hurts, I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
I think I've hit my
Same
top
here.
level of stress, and I'm just going to go into the bed and be in fetal position and hug my stomach. That's my concept. Do you have any
my
other
sign now.
Is that
It's
yours
my
too?
stomach, it just starts going crazy.
How about neck and back tension?
I'm all neck.
That's my second.
All neck.
That's my second. Like, oh, my neck hurts, my back hurts, and then we're already ready to go get a massage.
But it's not even about from exercise, because a lot of times I'm like, oh, it's because I taught so many classes or I worked out, but it's like, no, even when I don't work it, it's just being in this tense, because if you don't really think about it.
I'm thinking you're working
stressed,
it out when you're exercising.
But sometimes
but you're saying if you're just
if
under
you're doing
stress,
intense working out, but I'll find that it's just more stressful to just hold tension in those areas of our body.
That's
you know,
exactly
men
right.
mostly hold it in their lower back, and I read that women are mostly like in the upper cervical spine area.
It's always
right?
Yes.
Because we're carrying the weight of the world on our
We are. Amen. Hallelujah. We're carrying everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the one that is all three of us. All three of us are undergoing it at this moment. It's caregiver stress. All three of us, our parents are aging. We love our friggin' parents. Like, right? We love our mama and our daddy.
Yeah,
like,
yes, we
nothing is mama and daddy. It's all about mama. And I think that all three of us are in this concept, like, they took care of us. And so, even though they don't ask us, it's our obligation to return the love, the affection, the care when the tables are turned. And so it's a reality. It's called caregiver stress or burnout. It occurs when you start to take care of your parents over and over again. And so you start to take care of your parents and you stop taking care of yourself. That's the concept of caregiver stress. So you stop getting your hair done, you stop getting your nails, you stop getting manis, and you stop getting petties. You start getting irritable, you're not sleeping anymore. You either gain weight or you lose weight based on the stress. You're easily irritated. Do you guys go through that? My parents are going for 3 months, and it's so funny because my brothers are already prepping me like, mom this, dad this, and don't do this with mom, and don't do this with dad. So my parents live in El Paso, Texas with my 2 brothers, and so they're going to come visit. And so they're like already giving me the book on the do's and the don'ts with mom and dad.
Do they actually live with them?
No, they just live in the same city. My parents, so they're kind of like, don't do this. Yes, do this. If mom does that, do this. If dad does this, don't do this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Filling you in.
Yeah, so we'll go with you, Jax, first.
Well,
Tell us about
me,
your stress with your caregiver.
My mom is at home in Hawaii, and I have a sister who lives in Vegas. I have a brother who lives in Hawaii, and I'm here at Guam. So my major stress would be siblings, for us to put in our time for mom. So maybe brother could do the first week of her treatment, and maybe I could fly in for her second week of treatment, and then my sister from Vegas could fly in for the third week of treatment. And just not being there is really hard, but thank God this is where I thank social media, WhatsApp. How are you doing, mom? Viber, mom, with the video. How are you doing, mom? Can you just put on the video? Let me see how you're doing.
Aw, that's nice.
But
I don't do that at all.
You don't?
Well, my parents still have flip phones, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why
I don't even know if my parents. Yeah,
I was surprised that my mom even took into social media, and I was happy when she did, because that would be my connection with her. Even though she would call me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No concept of time difference.
8 o'clock in Hawaii. I'm like, Mom, it's 3 o'clock. But my caregiver stress on my mom was to be there for mom. So as long as I can incorporate time with mom, as with my siblings, that would make me feel good. So, but then again, when you're home with mom, it's like everything else, right? Okay, mom, coffee in the morning, spam in the morning. I'm like, and that's what mom wants. She wants to eat out all the time.
I feel you.
I'll cook you eggs and rice, and then a little spam on the side, but you don't need that. But that's my stress on caregiving, and we've worked it out for my siblings, but that would be my stress.
Claire?
Yeah.
Well, mine's very. I mean, both of you, your parents are not in the same, and I'm sure that's stressful and that happened close by. Because I have siblings who are out in the States that are not with my parents, so we have our WhatsApp chat with all my siblings, and for me, I mean, let me just start off. I mean, there's no higher honor for me than to take care of my mom and dad. I'm gonna say this without getting emotional.
I know.
But because honestly, they had 8 kids and a lot of other things on their plate. So truly, although it can get stressful, I live in the same. My son and I, my 7-year-old, and I live with my parents.
Right. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So initially, it was helpful for me.
Yes.
But then when we were gonna leave, after KP was just an infant, I realized that he had bonded so deeply with my mom and dad, and they didn't want him to leave. So we've been there ever since. And I think more stressful. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have so many other siblings that we all are able to contribute. Like, it's like, okay, who's gonna have mom and dad this night, and so we're able to juggle and kind of take shifts. And my parents, although they're 85, they're not to the point. They still like going out. They still like eating out.
Yeah, they're mobile.
They're
and
totally
they're still
mobile.
Like going out, like what?
Just to dinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
To church, dinner, to
Because
like.
some still salsa, and
We do that at home.
Oh,
We don't go
okay.
out to
All
do
right,
that.
okay.
But for me, I think the most stressful thing is to see the decline.
I know.
To see, that's the hardest thing for me is sometimes like if I'll just, I'm so used to the day to day and making sure things
For me too.
are done, but to really just be in public and like watching, more so my dad than my mom, but to watch him just like walk even, it's just seeing the little changes here and there, that has been my biggest stressor. And to not let him see that it's a
Yeah. And so, how do you de-stress? So when it gets overwhelming and you feel like you're just gonna cry, what do? Call your siblings and say, "Come take over. I'm gonna head out
No,
for an
because
hour."
we all do that anyway. So a lot of times when because KP goes, that's another thing that's a little stressful. Is my son is 7 and he goes between our household and his father's. So when he's not there, and my parents are so close to him, every hour, where's KP? When's KP coming back? And I'm like, so when KP's there, he's a great.
Yes.
He cracks everyone. My boy's a character.
Aren't they not the same parents that raised us? Like, they're different with the grandkids, right?
Yeah.
I always say to my
gets
kids,
100%
that's not the same mother and
attention.
father I grew up with. My mom would pull my hair, slap me, and she's like, if you touch my grandchild, I will. And I'm like, what? You beat the crap out of me growing up.
Apparently it's a different ballgame
Right.
as a grandparent.
Yeah.
But so having him around is a great de-stressor. He makes them laugh. He's just entertaining. But if he's not there, then my dad, they still love to sing, so we go downstairs and do karaoke. I find that singing and dancing,
They love
we'll just put on the radio, and they love like old Chamorro songs, so we'll just like cha-cha or do whatever. And those things
I
definitely
think I should
help
buy a
de-stress.
Chamorro karaoke for when my parents come.
Oh, that's separate. We do karaoke. I don't know if there was karaoke in Chamorro. But we listen to the Chamorro station, and then we do karaoke.
I thought you. I'm sure there is.
I'm
right?
sure you just
I'm
use
sure
your
there
cell phone.
is.
My parents, there is. Oh, Uncle Kim, the guru of
You
the
gotta let
Chamorro
us
era.
know.
You know what? I know my parents would love that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make some for you.
Uncle Kim's gonna let us all know how to do it. Mine is to be determined because my parents aren't here yet. they arrive tomorrow, and then I have them for 3 months, and then I'll let you all know.
And then the
Before
before and after.
before and
after.
then it's for my mom. So interventions that they recommend is to ask for help, which Claire clearly and Jackie clearly say they ask their siblings for help. So I think that's the biggest thing that we could give everybody, that if caregiver burnout or stress is starting to occur, to just ask for help. And if you don't have siblings, I'm sure you have cousins or relatives that love your mom, love your dad, and are willing to help you out, just so you can, I don't know, go get your hair done or get a mani, or just so that you can care a little bit about yourself. Because that's the concept of caregiver stress burnout, is that you care so much for mom and dad that you stop caring for yourself. Consider adult daycare or the senior citizen centers. We have great senior citizen centers here. Catholic Social Services has great, they play bingo. I don't know what.
I think they also have like cha-cha. Right?
Cha-cha, they do dancing, they play bingo. I know they do a lot of activities that are enjoyable. take a nap. We also have home health services that are available here on Guam. And so one of the concept is if your mom and dad are homebound and physical therapy comes to the house or occupational therapy, that's when you should go take a nap. They're there they're doing range of motion exercises with your mom and dad. That's the time, because they're trained professionals, they're licensed. So one of the recommendations is when you have referral outsources coming to render care to your parents, the home health nurse is there to bathe your mom, bathe your dad, change her Foley, change her diaper, draw blood, whatever, give her medications. That's the time you should just go take a nap real quick, and then come back.
And of course, it ends up being the time that you're not tired and your mind's running a million miles, and then you're like,
or that's when your phone's gonna ring. I'm crazy, like, dang it, I can't get off this phone. All right, so before we jet, let's do some unconventional interventions for stress, and you guys tell me if you agree or disagree. Unconventional interventions for stress. Number 1, house cleaning. Scrubbing a toilet, a sink, or a bathtub can be very de-stressing. Do you guys agree?
I think washing dishes is the only thing that helps me.
Washing dishes for me too.
That's therapy. Actually,
You agree?
Yes. When I clean, I blast my music.
Okay.
I have my gloves in my hand, and no one can disturb me, and that's like therapy for me. Just as much as washing dishes.
Dang, I don't clean like her. Do you clean like her?
No.
I think I should clean like her.
I
put your earbuds in. I don't even clean like
my
that.
phone is away from me, and I'm totally in the zone.
Well, I always have
That's a
music
good one.
playing,
I
or I
do.
have like podcasts. I
Okay.
either have podcasts or music playing in the house usually.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna take their suggestions. Dancing.
Yeah.
I love to dance.
All right. Walking the dog or petting your cat. Do you guys think walking the dog de-stresses you?
Usually snuggling my dog.
My dog don't know how to walk. Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
how
like
to walk.
choking the crap out of them. They're like, and I'm like,
Right?
please, for the love of God.
I thought of that.
They don't know
I
how
think
to walk.
just like you, just snuggling with my
Okay.
dog.
So these guys don't agree with walking the dog, but petting it, cuddling, that's
Affection.
okay. Cooking, that's another unconventional way to de-stress. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I think a lot of people agree with that, but I'm not a big cook. I like making smoothies and salads.
Yeah.
I don't really.
I'm out. ladies
I'm a
and
cook.
I
gentlemen.
like eating out.
Yeah, I do.
So,
With a
so
glass
cooking
of wine.
de-stresses you?
Oh, it does, totally.
I'm out, because it
Yeah.
just doesn't
It
like it
just-
don't taste good. They're like, Mom, what is this? It's chilaquiles, and I'm like, it don't taste like chilaquiles. I'm like, whatever. All right. So cooking does not de-stress me, but yes,
It does for me.
no, okay. Bush cutting, yard work, gardening. Bush.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know my grandmother used to say gardening. Her roses, absolutely. She would stay out there for hours gardening and pruning her roses. Do you agree or disagree?
It makes me more frustrated because I can't save even an aloe vera tree plant.
Oh my gosh, I just had one die.
Right? And they're supposed to be the
I
most,
did.
they're supposed to be the most resilient.
I know. I
Yeah.
just had one die on me.
I'm a gardener, yes.
It de-stress.
Yeah, it de-stresses me.
You're awesome.
I know.
You know
Well,
all the
this-
things to do.
This girl has no. I don't even know why she's on the show. She's got no stress. Only Claire and I had stress. And the last unconventional one that I researched was singing.
I
Do you guys
can't
think
sing
singing-
for beans. You put a microphone in my hand, I'm done. I can't even. You?
You cannot like you,
I
you want
can't
to take
sing.
over?
No, I can't
Oh.
sing at all.
Whether I can sing or not, I like to sing. So like singing and dancing are huge stress relievers for me.
Look, singing in my car when nobody's around, game. It totally, like, I blast it and I'm just going to town and my kids are laughing at me. But singing, like, at a karaoke bar in front of people, no.
Yeah,
That
can't
actually
do it.
stresses me out. So
Right?
singing in my own
Like in the shower.
shower
Yeah.
or in my own car, yes, I totally think it de-stresses me. But singing in public does not de-stress me at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us and helping us to figure out different ways and modes to de-stress during this holiday season. We hope all of you have a great, wonderful Thanksgiving this weekend. And thank you so much for joining us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spot. I'm not done yet. Hold on, let me take a drink. Hold on. I'm not talking very well. Okay. Thank you all for joining us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and especially Pandora, our newest game changer. We all appreciate you hanging out with us, and we hope you do not stress this holiday season.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.